Alrighty, well, welcome everybody to this, whatever this is. It's me playing New World Aeternum, day 2 of its relaunch. In case you're out there and you've never seen this semi-okay face of mine, I'm Joseph Bradford. I'm the editor-in-chief over here at MMO. I am the one doing our New World Aeternum review. Yes, we are reviewing New World again. There's so much in terms of like the leveling grind and the story and everything that's changed since that 2021 review that we felt it was worth it to our readers to basically redo the whole thing. Yeah, so in case you didn't see the tag at the top, this is running on Xbox, and please let me know if the game is too loud, if I'm too quiet. I'm gonna actually tuck the game down a little bit because I can see it peaking on the good old OBS over here. So yeah, playing New World. I'm playing a brand new character, obviously, since I'm playing this on Xbox. I have a level 65 character on PC that I'll be kind of running the end game stuff with, assuming I don't find this incredibly enjoyable and run through the entirety of New World on this new character. I think what might stop me from doing that is probably the frame rate when I'm in towns, because it's not good. Currently playing it on the 60 FPS mode, but I mean that's just a target in town, as you probably just saw with all of the people running around. That was a frame rate cluster mess. Just gonna make sure I have my chat pulled up so I can keep up with everyone. Or not. I don't like Restream's new interface, or I guess this is probably an older interface. We just don't stream that often. Yeah, so if you're chatting out there, I hopefully have it pulled up. I've got it pulled up on Twitch at least. I know we're also streaming to YouTube. Which release was I most excited for in this last quarter? Do you mean MMOs, or do you mean release in general? Zylog on Twitch. If it's MMOs, it's actually probably this one. I am a New World fan. I have always liked the game, but obviously, like it isn't without its issues. I liked Throne and Liberty, though I do agree with our reviewer Kazuma that it needs work, but I think that was apparent even when it launched in Korea. In terms of like games in general, like if we're talking just any game, this last quarter is probably metaphor, but that's mostly because my favorite game of all time is Persona 5. So, you know, there's that hanging over everything. What am I doing here? I'm supposed to be going to the Buccaneer Creek, which is just south of this camp. Then again, Legacy of Morgoth comes out next month, and Lord of the Rings Online is my favorite MMO. So who knows? I haven't been as enraptured with Standing Stone Games' expansions as of late. Like going to Umbar is pretty cool, but it's really hard to get back into that game when most of your friends have stopped playing and you're kind of having to grind through content by yourself in a game that is more solo friendly than it was in 2007, but not necessarily the best way to play a game like New World, like Lotra, excuse me. That's one of the selling points of this, is it's supposed to be entirely soloable, and so far I have not grouped up. That is partly due to the fact that I've been playing at such weird hours, because I'm balancing this between obviously the day-to-day on the site. Grace O'Malley.
Ha! Now this is more like it. Have you seen Buccaneer Creek? There's a place we can get some proper plunder. If we play our cards right, we might liberate some of their stolen property and be called heroes for it.
I love Grace
Now
O'Malley.
it makes sense. I scouted the place and they've got heaps of, well, just about everything. I bet that's your tribute, all right.
Oh, thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. I will give Bill and Susie a lot of credit running a site
I don't doubt it for a second. But hey, if you're gone,
a decade before I took it up back in 2019. So
I heard rumors
appreciate
of
it, though.
some massive gemstone. Get that, and we'll be rich.
Okay, I'll go get that for you, Grace O'Malley. I would probably lay in front of train tracks for Grace O'Malley. I know a lot of people find her annoying. I find her incredibly endearing. This is probably the most calming aspect of playing this game. It's just running around and like as I'm trying to get to the quest objective, getting sidetracked because there's, you know, hemp and hyssop and other various herbs and fibers to collect. I would probably be a higher level by now too if I didn't have to kind of go out of my way to get this freaking mace. Like the fact that this isn't part of the archetypes actually makes me upset. And the reason why Amazon didn't do that, they told me, was because you have to have the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion, and on PC you get a lot of the Aeternum updates without having to own the expansion, though you don't get access to everything, and that was wasted. Didn't see the retreat until the last minute. But as a result, they didn't want people to feel left out by having something they couldn't choose. I kind of see it the opposite way. That is like if the goal is to get people to buy the expansion, that's your sales opportunity right there. And I think people would understand, you know, if you had to lock something like that behind an expansion, but give them the ability to grab it, or do what Lotro does and sell the class separately. Well, here's an idea, just make the class free. But because it's not part of the archetypes, you kind of have to go out of your way to get one. And part of the crafting recipe requires something that you have to have 30 harvesting to get, to be able to make this thing. So it's a lot of grinding work that introduces a ton of friction. Being said, I love this thing. And I'm going Void Gauntlet as my secondary, just because they both scale on focus. And the goal here is, as I start to group up in later quests and stuff like that, being able to act like an off-tank, off-healer with the Cleric line and still have some healing output with the Void Gauntlet. Also, I don't know what it is, but this Void Sword makes me very happy. Maybe it's because it gives me like the feeling like I'm running around with the laser sword in Halo, the way it looks. Oh, I have one more to smash, I guess. So I'm playing on a fresh start server, hence why there's a bajillion people running around. I did try playing on my original server, which is El Dorado in the west, but it was dead. Which, on launch day of an MMO, you want to be where the people are. Very much aerial just now. I want to be where the people are. There it is. Well. I think that dude's going for the iron. Yep, okay. We'll let him have it. Is there a freaking ladder or is it? Oh, it's over there. used to the controller. Ah! That was fun. Normally I play rapier, so this is a little bit different than how I typically play. Normally I'm kind of dancing around these dudes. I just realized I don't have any potions. Or at least potions equipped. Gibbet! All I can think of in my head is gibbets and crows from Lord of the
Well,
Rings.
this was a fortunate coincidence, for me at least. I wasn't exactly thrilled with the prospect of spending eternity in a cage, so thank you again. I had an inkling the pirates had
This is the
fallen
second time I've
lost like
saved
so
her,
many
by the way.
others, but I was a little clumsy in my attempt
case
to
you were wondering.
verify that fact.
In case we're
Now we
keeping
know,
a score.
don't we? I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm curious if the pirates ventured into the nearby ruins, which is where one of Medea's verdant gemstones was placed. I must continue on to the ruins to investigate.
So this is about as far
You
as I
seem
got
able
in the
enough to
open
handle
beta.
the pirates with some ease.
I
I
know
wonder
that the
if I
open beta
might
only went up
enlist
to
your
like level
aid.
30, and I
Get yourself into
didn't
the
get the chance
captain's
to play
quarters within
a
the camp.
ton because I was
I'd like
also
to know
working
if he
on
has the verdant gemstones
Throne and
stashed
Liberty at the same time
If my
on the
suspicion-
early access server. Focus. Oh. I can do a thing. There's a lot of people hanging out around here. And I don't know how I missed. He was like right in front of me. One thing I will say is on the controller, you really need to lock on, especially with projectiles. I think that is a pretty verdant gemstone, you guys. Delay between the time I press the button to change weapons and my character changes weapons. I feel like that's been delayed from the original release. That's just the speaker explaining what he do. Where is the pirate captain Miklos Doughty? I'm gonna assume, like any good boss of a region, he's at the very top. Nope. So he's probably in that room everyone was standing in. Alright, gotcha. Makes sense. Can I get in there before he's like Maybe I can tag him, but guess not. Alright, so I guess we wait. So, hello.
I know we have
That was excessive.
but I would invite you to join me in an endeavor that will be mutually advantageous.
Yeah, I think
As I know
where
you're
the
aware,
verdant
the town of
gemstone
Corinth
is. It's
has
that
been paying
giant
tribute
verdant
to the
gemstone
sorceress Medea for generations.
out there.
An arrangement that I believe has run its course. I know
how, like,
you
the
and
change
your
just
crew
showed
have
up.
sought to acquire the tribute in seasons past, but the Iron Rose has successfully deterred your efforts. This season, I would invite you to make the attempt once again, with the
I don't
assurance
understand
that
the
the
motivation
Iron
behind
Rose
this
will
quest.
not be
Like this dude just
in
giving
fact,
pirates.
you may find Guard Captain DuPont is very quick to surrender when
Stuff.
you confront him. In exchange for your participation and your discretion, I will share the locations of the legendary verdant gemstones that we might share in their bounty. Yours in good faith and in confidence. Francis Turner, Speaker of the Winds.
The withering comes from the very earth here. The druid's charge was to keep it at bay. But we failed.
There you are! Tell me you got that emerald gemstone and bought us our escape from this accursed place.
Excuse me, but I think you have this all wrong. This is not some common jewel you're talking about.
love her
It's
so
the key
much.
to fixing this mess. The tower there, the gemstone must be returned. It's the only way to heal the land.
Hold on there, Plant Princess. We found the gemstone and it's ours to sell. We need that coin to buy a ship.
This land and the people who live here need that gemstone back where it belongs.
There's gotta be at least some kind of reward, right?
The reward is not dying,
Right?
I think. However this works.
Oh, so close! I was already feeling the sea spray on my face.
Hate to say it, Madam O'Malley, but you ain't going
I'm
nowhere.
sorry to dash your friend's dreams of wealth, but she should know it's quite impossible to leave the island. The storm wall is a force of nature. More importantly, however, that verdant gemstone must be returned to the ruins if we're to have any hope of cleaning up this horrid mess. I'm glad to hear that, especially because I'm about to ask you for yet another favour. I do hope you'll be amenable. You see, the ruins are protected by some
Amenable?
rather
That's a word.
overprotective guardians, far beyond what I can handle. You, however, seem to have great prowess.
Yeah,
Oh
I
no,
do.
I promise you I'm not just saying this so you'll help. I think you'll agree the situation is a bit desperate here, and you are capable. The verdant gemstone must be restored to the ancient shrine, or Windswood will continue to suffer. I can ask around town for volunteers, I suppose. Thank you.
Nope, I will
Replacing the
progress the
gemstone
plot.
may require some manipulation of the ancient mechanisms in the shrine, but I'm sure you'll figure it out.
As that is my job.
I must go and speak with Sage Moira in Corinth. There are 2 more shrines like this one, and if those gemstones are missing, well, perfect. I suppose
Well, I
you'll want to
guess we
speak
are
to your
going
friend
to-
here, but don't take too long. Replace the gem.
So we're gonna go put a gemstone back, you guys.
Can't believe it. What happened? You and I had a profitable plan before little Miss Green Thumb came along. That gemstone, you risked your neck for it. Well, when you put it that way, no, it's just... Well, I guess this means we've got to find our fortune somewhere else.
Yep.
I'm not giving up. I suppose I'll make my way back to Corinth and see if I can store up something. What about you? You're putting that gemstone back, aren't you? And I'm sure I'll bump into you there. I'll probably be in the tavern. God knows I deserve a drink after all this. Come by and have one with me, why don't you?
Just gonna point out, I was the one who risked my neck for this gemstone. And it's freaking Grace O'Malley saying she needs the drink. I love her, but like that's a little bit like... a little selfish. That being said, train tracks her, I would lay down. Well, my character would, like I personally wouldn't. You know what I mean. Mirador Shrine. Oof, these guys are hitting hard. Oh, I thought that was a enemy. Remember when you couldn't jump, and then the only thing you could do was just climb these like walls weirdly. Oh yeah, this is the puzzle thing. Udesu, order gemstone. Maybe it's... Nope, other way. There we go. Rejoin my allies in Corinth, so we can be called to end. They all in here? Yep, go upstairs. Oof, that frame rate. It feels so good until we get into town. And that is mostly just due to the fact that every
I'm
one of
sure
their
we
mom
can
is
find
in the same
reasonable
spot.
punishment for the speaker, one that fits his crimes.
You're a sensible man, Sadvik. Maybe too sensible. Convince me by the time I finish sharpening this blade and we'll do it your way. If not, I give him a taste of true suffering.
That gets my vote.
There will be time for justice. But torturing the speaker will not remove the curse on Windswood.
Are you suggesting we forgive his treachery?
Oh no. I support whatever cruel fate you can dream up for him. But first, we need to heal this land, so by all means, keep plotting. But some of us will need to recover the verdant gemstones. Any volunteers? That's what I expected.
Gotta love everyone just kind of looking at me. Also, FSR ruins the image quality. I am not a fan of whatever FSR they're using.
I'm no less infuriated with the speaker's actions than anyone else, but the thirst for vengeance mustn't distract us. The gemstones are all that matters now. I did, and she understands the urgency of the situation. The problem is that we don't even know the location of the other
What's
shrines.
up, man?
Moira is scouring her
How goes
scrolls
it?
in an attempt to find us some answers. In fact, I will join you shortly. As much sacrifice as it may require, I want to talk to Elder Satvik about resuming tribute.
Elder
Whether the
Satvik.
speaker agrees or not.
Oh, hey, man. Thanks for the subscription, you guys. Messer Jaggernaut. Oh, it was your birthday recently. Happy birthday, man. I think I was gonna send you a message and then just got tied up with everything going on. As you well know, just busy few weeks. Or, yeah, whatever FSR they are using to keep this frame rate as stable as it is, which again is not that stable right now. 10 out of 10 would friend again for sure. It makes everything look soft. And in these close-ups, it does not do a good job of these
speaks very highly of you.
character models looking decent. Like she looks blurry. It's almost as if
The situation in
someone had
Windswood more dire than
took
it's been in
Vaseline and
centuries.
kind of
We will
smeared it on the
gladly
camera
accept your
lenses.
help. Are you here to talk
Shouldn't have
about the
any
location
echoey
of the
voice.
shrine?
And I just realized why. I had both the capture card and the Elgato Wavelink stream mix turned on in OBS. So hopefully that's gone now.
Mostly just how little we truly know. I've dedicated several lifetimes to studying Aeternum's history, but much of it remains a mystery. Before we discuss the shrines, I should share what knowledge I have. You might even find it interesting. Aeternum's ruins tell the tale of a magnificent civilization that once dominated the island. Its architects, the ancients, discovered or possibly created the energy we call Azos. In the millennia that followed, humanity came from countless prehistoric cultures: Sumeria, China, Egypt, and more.
That
They
world
were
building
called
though.
to explore the sea, summoned by the ancients to this island. These early arrivals worshipped the ancients as gods. They toiled under the ancients' guidance, building hundreds
Oh
of
yeah, they
monuments and
completely
towers.
revamped the entire leveling experience as
But
well.
humanity's savage nature
Like
could
it's
not be tamed.
decent now.
Wars broke out, and amid the chaos, corruption first appeared. To combat this new menace, the ancients imbued a chosen few with gifts. These heroes were granted monumental powers and life eternal. The wars raged on for centuries, and the ancients blessed entire armies. But most of the human vessels degraded into mindless skeletal warriors. Those wars.
Yeah, I was
ended
gonna ask if you
millennia ago,
had gotten
and
off
the
that Throne of
ancients
Liberty
disappeared.
train, or
But their
if
haunted guardians
and I'm
still
started to play
protect the
this, or
ruins.
if you're still playing that.
Oblivious
I
to the fact
haven't
their
I haven't
cause
logged into
has
Throne of
long
Liberty in
since
2
lost
weeks.
its meaning.
I've been so wrapped up in finishing Metaphor Re Fantatio for review and then prepping for this. She looks terrible. Like, it's not just me, right? Like, that is a bad looking character model.
I believe you saw the Guardians yourself at Mirador, so you know the danger. To learn the locations of the other shrines, we must venture again into the ruins.
And a lot of this is just down to the fact that in order to maintain
There's
a stable 60 FPS on these consoles now, we have to rely super heavily on FSR, and AMD's FSR is just not
While you acquire
up to
the map,
speed.
Lesser and I will continue to learn what we can from these scrolls, however little that might be.
Like, they are, I don't know which version of FSR they're using, whether or not we're looking at like a performance FSR, which would then drop. So I'm playing this at 1440p. That's the monitor I have it connected to right now next to my computer. So assuming the console is dynamically, it's not trying to render at 4K downscale to 1440p. If this is using something like FSR, performance to maintain close to or hit that 60 FPS mark, we're talking about an internal resolution below probably 900, maybe even below 720p. And then trying to upscale it from there. It just doesn't look good. It's especially bad in towns. Like, it's not so bad out in the wild, but because, towns are so busy with all of the geometry the game has to render, plus all of the characters running around, which, I mean, great. It's an MMO. We want characters. We want players running around. That trade-off, though, like, AMD really set both its own GPU stack this generation and consoles back a generation by not having any AI upscaling like Nvidia does. Which sucks, because AMD's GPUs are insanely good at raster. Like, they are so good. But hey, we got some PvP going on. Dark Origami versus Kyosa. You guys can do it. I believe in you. I'm gonna follow the action. So what level have you gotten to in Throne and Liberty now, David? Okay, this is taking too long. Curse you guys both having like skills. Flammable human. Some of these names are great. Nice. Yeah, I was actually a little surprised when Kazuma finished the review within like a week of launch. But then I remembered he was also playing 5 days ahead of time on the early access, and he even found his old Lineage 2 guild in the review. I actually think I have to go around. Leveling in Throne of Liberty seemed like a breeze. Like, it felt like I was leveling a little bit too quickly. But I don't know how much of a grind it turns into towards those later levels. I think I got up to like level 20 or something. Have you done any of like the okay, it slows down a lot at level 30. Have you done any of the large scale wars yet? Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I'm able to get into a guild that has war aspirations in this game. Because in the entirety of the original, nearly up to 60 people, that's awesome. In the entirety of the original like release of New World, I have participated in all of 2 wars. I really would. It's such a tentpole feature of like this game, and when you limit it to only 50 people on each side, being able to participate, it makes it so like there are some people who want to be in these wars and just will never be able to. I think I meant to go around the mountain, not over the mountain, but hey, we'll take it. I actually remember when the game first launched, I was told I was going to be part of the very first battle, very first war that our company did. So I put out an article on the site saying, hey, come check out, we're going to stream the battle. Come check out the PvP wars if you want to see what they look like. And then was told about 20 minutes before I was supposed to go live that, oh, by the way, you're not going to be part of it. And that really pissed me off. But it also kind of highlights an issue with the entire system where it's so constrained. Whereas in a game like ESO, it's because everyone's on the same mega server, you can have massive fights. And ESO's PvP has its issues for sure, but you never feel left out as a result. The wars in this game end up devolving into kind of like a favorites game, where if you're not really close with the people who are making those decisions, you're going to find yourself on like the outside looking in a lot more. I mean, yeah, they're going to be power hungry and political for sure. The crazy thing is, if they did like what EVE Online does, just allowed as many people as possible to kind of break the server and figured out a way to make it work, you know, to make the player count not necessarily cripple a server. We could see the kind of like backstabbing and political, you know, gameplay we see in EVE Online happen here. We'd also probably see more wars because things get stagnant after a while. What am I supposed to be doing here again? Oh, I have to climb back up where I literally just fell. Gotcha. I do like all of these tooltips. There's a lot more tooltips in the game now. Why do I have to go up here to view a map? I feel like this is designed just to show that you can like halfway parkour in this game. Like for no other reason. Also, who puts a map like this at the top of a statue? This literally makes logistically no sense. I barely played Guild Wars 2, so I was still very much hung up on that Lotro bandwagon. And when Guild Wars 2 came out, ESO was kind of right around the same time, and I was still writing for that ESO podcast network, so I was kind of hip deep in that. Oh, hey. Is she? Oh, she's back in Windsward. I have to go all the way back. I mean, I could make the argument that Lord of the Rings Online did that to me, but realistically it was because my wife at the time was closer to getting her degree than I was, and we could only afford for one of us to go. Oh, I'm only 4 levels away, I think, from getting a mount. I think it's level 20. I could be wrong. Maybe level 25? I was gonna say maybe level 25, and then a level 25 mounted dude starts running past me. Alright, let's hit up this shrine over here. Yeah, they added mounts with the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion last year. And honestly, like, some of the decisions these designers make in terms of like the world building and stuff are so inspired. So the NPC who introduces you to mounts is one of Genghis Khan's sons, but it's the son whose parentage is in question historically, and even back in, you know, Genghis Khan's day, where it was a good chance that his firstborn son wasn't actually his, and so it caused a power struggle and a succession crisis. So his son was basically quietly killed in favor of Ogadai, who ended up becoming the Great Khan after Genghis Khan died. Well, in this, the character who teaches you about mounts is Jochi Khan. It's Genghis Khan's first son who gets mysteriously killed. And to me, that is such an inspired choice, because it's a historical figure that if you know about, like, if you're like me and you're obsessive over like military history, if you know about Jochi Khan's story, it's like an insane callback. Otherwise, you see Khan, you associate that with Mongols, and it makes sense. This, you know, Mongol warlord is helping you find your first horse, you know? I don't know. I love the idea of being able to just turn into an otter or whatever. I don't know if you ever get like faster as them, but God, that frame rate is so bad in town.
I'm afraid we've not had much luck with these scrolls. But let's see what you brought back.
That was actually one of my favorite parts about Throne of Liberty initially, was just that feeling of running down a road, pressing, you know, down on the stick, and all of a sudden being a wolf.
Moira and I will get to work on deciphering this straight away. Though it's an unfortunate distraction, I think you might need to visit the town hall.
What happened?
After you left, frustrations boiled over. Elder Satvik insisted they wait for your return, but Leovix was quite past the point of reason.
I agree with Leovix.
They marched off to the town hall just a short time ago. If you go quickly, you might be able to avert a violent episode.
What if I want the violent episode, though? Like, let's be real. Like, this dude deserves what's coming to him. Like, a lot. That sounds like every Korean MMO I've ever played, by the way, David. It's got some lovely features, but I don't understand it. That's, I mean, welcome to, like, Black Desert Lineage. I still don't understand how nodes work in Black Desert. I've been playing that game since launch.
We've all made mistakes.
Mistakes? You've undermined us at every turn. And for what? To stir the collective pot into a frenzy?
And what a stew you've been cooking up.
I love you, Grace O'Malley.
Hanging with the Druid's gemstones. A nasty gruel it is.
This theory of yours is preposterous.
If pirates stole the tribute, it's the Iron Rose to blame.
That's it! I'm cutting this traitor!
Don't coward!
Please, everyone!
Enough. No point in killing each other if you're just gonna come back.
She's got a point.
You're right. Let's hang them by their toes in the town square.
Please, no! This was all the Speaker's idea. I'll tell you everything.
You wouldn't dare!
All right, little birdie. Time to chirp.
So, one of the things I said in my initial review of this is that every character was forgettable, except for Jonas. And Jonas was only I could only remember Jonas because I had to like run back and forth to his freaking little fishing shack so many flippin' times. But like every character so far has been like unforgettable. Like I really want to go travel the world with Leovix Silva, and I want to protect Grace O'Malley with all of my heart.
I'd ask you to remember the atrocities this speaker and his conniving lackey have committed. They betrayed Medea, the Druids, the Iron Rose, and the entire town. They need to pay in blood. I'm not arguing with that. but with my blade freshly sharpened, I could do a little surgery to help guarantee we get the truth this
I
time.
do wish I had branching dialogue choices because I really want to say go for it, you know.
That chance passed a while back in my book, but I trust your judgment.
Maybe the next
Get even a
update.
hint that they're holding out, though. It's my turn.
Marcel Dupont.
See now, that Iron Rose thug wants to carve me up, but I'm just a soldier in this affair. Everything I did, I was just...
You know what's funny, David, is I remember you telling me that you liked the narrator, and then one of the first things that I read in our review was how much Kazuma did not like that narrator.
See now, that Iron Rose thug wants to carve me up, but I'm just a soldier in this affair. Well, see here, old Francis told me this tribute business with Medea was just a lie, made up so someone could steal from the good people of Corinth. So that's why he cooked up this plan. My part was just to escort the damn tribute and surrender when the
I had a good laugh when I read that, remembering our conversation.
One of them gemstones.
Yeah, the FSR is like literally, I'm gonna keep harping on this. I really hate that they have to use FSR. And it makes me wonder if they're relying on FSR to do all of the anti-aliasing, or if the quality of Lumberyard's anti-aliasing is so bad that FSR is just dog shit as a result as well.
Find the gemstone Francis and I was going to split. Right,
it's a deal.
Speaker's stash. Now that I've told you that, you need to...
Gonna go upstairs and find a verdant gemstone, you guys. I know a lot of people have on Reddit and stuff. Oh shit, like that's just right there, out in the open. A lot of people on like Reddit and such have been harping on a graphical downgrade. I'll have to play it on PC to find out. But like, if you're playing it on console, I can understand maybe it feels like it. I don't think so. I think it's just in order to make it stable, they have to drop the frame rate. They have to drop the resolution and stuff. But
Speaker of the Winds, I could have you arrested. Oh, I've never seen that in all my days.
This dude needs to just be strung up, though.
It's shameful, this conspiracy against me. I'm the best speaker this town's ever had. Oh, and now you convict me without a trial? Before you planned the execution, you'd do well to remember I have information you need. The other gemstone, eh?
Just gonna point out, he's complaining that we're convicting him without a trial, and then he basically just admits to everything that we've accused him of. So, do we need a trial?
It was the pirates all along, you know. Captain Doughty and Captain Coropati. They planned this. And when you find their gemstones, that proves my innocence. Go on and recover whatever gemstones remain. And we'll clean up all this business together, won't we? Hello? Are you listening to me?
You know, I'm sorry to intrude, but I could have sworn I heard someone who wasn't necessarily telling the whole truth. Ah, the words I've so longed to hear. I'll clean up here. You have another gemstone.
I fully hope I get to see this dude strung up
Godspeed.
when I come back to Corinth. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to skip past another piece of dialogue there, but all right. Sometimes it doesn't like progress the dialogue quickly enough, and so you have to press A to move it forward. And then times it does, and when you press A because you don't think it's going to happen that time, that what you just witnessed happened. I need to upgrade my shield and my armor. I need to go iron hunting.
So the speaker himself had the second gemstone.
So many people running around Corinth right now.
Saves us some trouble, I suppose. We can just take it directly to one of the shrines. Oh, what about the third gemstone? Another pirate, then. Seems those are Francis Turner's closest friends and confidants. Well, you'll be glad to know we've made progress studying this map. I think we've identified the location of at least one of the other shrines. That does seem to be the next logical step, so you have my support.
You have
continue
my
with the map.
sword.
The shrine is to
and
the
my
southwest of the
axe.
city. Oh, do be careful if you run into any ancient guardians there. You've become quite indispensable.
All right, dude. It was good to chat with you. Thanks for hanging out. I am probably going to call it there too. It's 10 o'clock and I still have some stuff to preload on the site for tomorrow. So, thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll do this again probably during the day next time, you know, during office hours, I guess. Cool. Make sure you check out our content. Make sure you check out our coverage of the game, I should say. Gosh, I sound like a very bad YouTuber. Our coverage of the game over on the old MMORPG.com, our New World page. Oh, hey, man. Quick story. I literally just saw your message on YouTube. I'll shoot you a text. Let you know the answer to your question. Yeah, so thanks again for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. And